What's up, good people? Good Wednesday afternoon. We've got some updates to go over, some Seahawks updates to cover, sorted things, mostly injury related, but the first thing we're going to go over here is actually just something kind of generally cool. The Seahawks have done fairly well so far this year in Player of the Week awards. They've already had a Defensive Player of the Week, they've had an Offensive Player of the Week with Uchenna Nwosu and Geno Smith. Now they have completed the trifecta with a Special Teams Player of the Week. So we have already completed the Player of the Week trifecta when we did not have the trifecta at any point last year through the full 18 weeks. I believe we never had I think it was Defensive Player of the Week. So I know they're just individual accolades, but Will Dissly, of all people, winning NFC Special Teams Player of the Week is not, it's not necessarily expected, right? I mean, he's a tight end. He usually doesn't play a ton on special teams, but on Sunday he did, partially because Nick Bellore was out, and he forced a fumble, and he recovered another fumble on special teams. Now, obviously, once Bellore comes back, Dissly will probably not be playing as much on special teams, but he made a big impact while he was there. And I mean, that was something that absolutely turned the game. So he absolutely deserves to be Special Teams Player of the Week. It's pretty cool for him to win an award like this because he's hard pressed to ever win like Offensive Player of the Week. That's going to be very hard for him to ever make happen as a inline tight end who is competing with other tight ends for catches anyway. But thought this was pretty cool. So shout out to Will Dissly. He's having a good year, and I gotta say, that contract that he signed, which at the time seemed alarming, it seems pretty cool right now. Like, he is basically living up to it. He is basically worth that money. If he is overpaid, it's by such a small amount that nobody should really care. So, Will Dissly, NFC Special Teams Player of the Week. We are halfway through the season. We already have the trifecta. Because, yeah, like I said, Geno and Nwosu already won their Players of the Week, which is something we did not do in 2021. So, hey, I know it doesn't increase our win total. I know it doesn't make us a better actual team, but it's cool. And it's especially cool that it comes from a place like this, where you have Will Dissly filling in extra special teams snaps and making two monster plays to help you win the game and be rewarded for it. So that's the start. Other than that, most of what we have right now are injury updates from Pete Carroll and some other such notes about the state of the roster. A couple things on the offensive line that I want to talk about here real quick. Corbin Smith has the tweets here. Carroll says the Seahawks are growing comfortable with Phil Haynes and Gabe Jackson rotating during games. Now, it is very rare you see offensive linemen rotate. In fact, it's so rare, I don't even have them on Snap Count Monday, but now I might have to because I guess this is not going away. My initial impression was that they were doing it because Gabe kept coming up lame in the middle of games and had to miss like a series or two and we would put Phil in. But no, this seems to just be a trend. Jackson has an old knee, I guess, that Seattle is managing, and the team wants to keep him fresh with Haynes subbing. Now, this is a very unusual thing that this team is doing right now, but based off what we saw against the Giants, there's reason to believe that it might be working. There's also reason to believe that it's not working. It can go one way or the other. On the one hand, if you looked at the PFF score at least, Gabe Jackson played a great game against the Giants, maybe the best game he's played as a Seahawk. On the other hand, the interior offensive line in general seemed a little bit soft to me, and maybe that's not specifically Gabe Jackson or Phil Haynes' fault. Obviously, there are other players in there, but offensive line play is all about camaraderie. It's all about guys being on the same page, guys knowing where another guy's going to be. So that's got to be part of it as well, why they might be struggling a little bit. So I don't know about this rotation at right guard. I don't know if I think it's going to last terribly long, but this is how we get value out of Gabe Jackson while he's here. Because he was a guy who was getting destroyed at points earlier this year. Like against the Niners, he had maybe the worst game of his career. And against the Giants, he had a great game in limited snaps. So this is a very unusual solution, but it does seem like it gives Gabe a chance to be a positive impact on this team while still allowing Phil Haynes to also be a positive impact, because Haynes can play well. So it's good to get him out there at least some. So we're going to monitor this. We're going to see if it holds. I'm going to have to add offensive linemen to snap count Monday because of this. So keep an eye out for that. Also, about the interior offensive line, Austin Blythe is expected to practice. So you are probably going to have Blythe on Sunday against the Cardinals. He missed part of the game against the Giants, which was concerning. He's really the only decent center we have, but looks like he's okay. And then we got encouraging word on Tre Brown. So most of this injury news is actually pretty good. Tre Brown practicing full go this week. Isaiah Dunn will also be ready too, but I don't know what role he's going to have. Honestly, I don't know what role Tre Brown's going to have. There isn't a ton of room for him right now because the guys in front of him are playing really well. You're certainly not going to take away snaps from Woolen. Jackson's playing very effectively. And even Kobe Bryant, who was getting beat up earlier in the year, has settled down a little bit now. So I don't think you want to take snaps from him. I don't know what we view Tre Brown's role as going forward, whether it's nickel or outside. But either way, right now, I think he's just kind of waiting for something to happen for him to actually go out there. And obviously that depth at corner is why Sidney Jones is on the waiver wire. I think we all kind of understood that the depth we had at corner was fueling that. So, yeah, Tre Brown just about back. We can take our time with him. And frankly, I don't know what role he's going to have this year. But it's good to have him back regardless, because he did play well last year. A lot of people have kind of forgotten this because it was a year ago. But the guy flashed in 2021. The only real bad news in terms of injuries right now would be what's going on with Daryl Taylor. Daryl Taylor will not practice today. There's been a lot of vagaries about what's going on with Taylor's injury. Obviously, he played 3 snaps against the Giants and then got pulled out. That's not encouraging. That's not cool. So there could be something significant going on there. And if he's out, I know he's a limited player. I know he's not playing great. I know he's been a bit of a disappointment this year, but that leaves you with Nwosu, who's awesome. But then you have Mafe, who's a rookie. You have Bruce Irvin, who's, I mean, he held up well against the Giants, but you don't want him playing 40-plus snaps a game. And then you've got, hopefully Alton gets back eventually. Hopefully Christian Jones can play a little bit if he needs to. Hopefully Daryl Johnson gets back. Like, it's not ideal. So hopefully Daryl Taylor can come back. And that's about it for the injury stuff. DK said he felt fine, but what else is he going to say? So other than the Taylor thing, it's all pretty positive. Carroll also talked a little bit about the trade deadline, saying that the Seahawks were in on a lot of stuff as the deadline approached on Tuesday, but nothing fit. And they felt like they were getting some injured players back, which meant they didn't have to make a trade. I believe it. Like I said, I think things like the McCaffrey trade and maybe the Chubb trade made teams value their assets more than they usually would have. So I believe we were on the phone. I believe we were trying to make trades and nothing manifested, basically. And yeah, that's about it for what's going on in Seahawks land right now. Looks like we're getting some players back. Looks like we've got some interesting things going up on the front. And hey, we got a chance to keep it rolling this Sunday in Arizona. I'll talk more about this game as we get closer. But that's how the injury situation looks with the week of practice about to start. All right, so I'm going to do my college quarterback video a little later today, although I will say, for reasons that I went over in my morning video, the college quarterback videos are starting to lose a lot of their... they're starting to lose a little bit of gas, mostly because we may not need a quarterback, which was very hard to see coming. So I'm gonna keep doing it the rest of the year. I'm gonna post that video later today, but it just straight up like it might not even matter anymore. I don't know, but that'll come later. See you guys on Twitch later. I plan on streaming Valhalla for an extended period of time tonight. Got to try to finish it up in time for Ragnarok. So I hope to see you guys there. I know the game isn't great, but we have fun. We talk Seahawks football pretty much the whole time. And yeah, that's what's going on. I will see you guys hopefully tonight. Go Hawks. And hey, the team seems like it's getting put in an even better position than they are right now. And the position right now, pretty good.